Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital revision session for the subject Science and Technology, Section A. Yesterday, we have revised chapter number 18 from Section B, Observing Space with the help of telescopes, and also we had started with the revision of chapter number 13, Carbon, an Important Element. In this chapter, we have revised the initial topics related to carbon, that is, where carbon occurs, what are the different properties of carbon, about the allotropic nature, and the three crystalline allotropes of carbon. Now, the topics which are remaining to be revised for this chapter are the non-crystalline or the amorphous forms of carbon. Then we are going to study about hydrocarbons, not study, revise about hydrocarbons as the basic organic compounds. Then we are going to study in details about carbon dioxide and methane gas. All these topics are explained to you. This is our second revision. You just recollect, after the first two chapters of section A were over, we had done the revision for chapter number 12 and 13. So this is our second revision before the exam, that is your assessment which is coming near. Let us proceed towards the revision for the non-crystalline forms of carbon, and then we will study how the carbon dioxide plays an important role, how it has a number of uses in our day-to-day life. In crystalline forms of carbon, we have studied about diamond, graphite and fullerene. In non-crystalline forms, you know they are the amorphous forms of carbon. So whatever properties were there for the crystalline forms, exactly opposite you will have for the non-crystalline forms. The non-crystalline forms will not have a regular and definite arrangement of atoms. They will have low melting and boiling points. They will not have any definite geometrical shape or sharp edges, no plane surfaces. So you will be finding the amorphous forms very in the form of rough surfaces, powder, and the three non-crystalline forms of carbon are coal, coke, charcoal. Here we are going to study about coal and the different forms, the different types of coal. Now when you hear about the word coal, I don't have to explain much about it. You know that it is a fossil fuel giving us a large amount of heat energy on burning. What does coal contain? It contains carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Also, it contains nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. As you all know that coal, it occurs in the solid state and is of four types. The four types are, first A is pit, second is lignite, third is bituminous coal and fourth is anthracite. Now these are the four steps in the formation of coal. Now you know that it is a non-renewable fossil fuel and takes many number of years for its formation and is formed in different steps. The first step in the formation of coal is pit, which contains high proportion of water and less than 60% of carbon, and hence if you see, not much amount of heat can be obtained from this step, that is the pit step. The second step in the formation of coal is lignite. Now this pit, which was the first step, which was transformed into lignite due to increased pressure and temperature inside the earth. You know what changes take place inside the earth's crust. It contains 60 to 70% of carbon. Look, everywhere you can see the percentage of carbon and the step number. Peat is the first step. Lignite is the second step. So it can be asked as MCQs in the exam. Third is bituminous coal, which was formed as the third step of the formation of coal and contains about 70 to 90% of carbon. Now you can observe over here, as you go ahead with the steps, the percentage of carbon is going on increasing, and as the percentage of carbon goes on increasing, when you burn it, you will obtain more and more amount of heat energy. And the last type is anthracite, which is known as the pure form of coal and is hard, containing about 95% of carbon, and hence you know why it is known as the pure form, because it contains maximum percentage of carbon in it. So get prepared with this answer. Different points can be asked under MCQs, objectives, or it can also be asked as a brief question. What is coal? And explain the different types of coal in details. So you have to be well prepared. Next is charcoal. Now you know charcoal that is made from animals, it is made from their bones, horns, etc. Or which is made from the plants, it is formed by the combustion, burning of wood in an insufficient supply of air. I have put an image of charcoal. Now the coal which you have studied just now, what are the different uses of coal? It is used as a fuel in factories and homes. You are well known with the different uses of coal. It is used to obtain coke, coal gas and coal tar, and used in the thermal power plants for the generation of electricity. As you know, coal gives a large amount of heat energy on combustion, on burning. Hence, its major use is in thermal power plants for the production of electrical energy. Our next topic for revision is hydrocarbons. Sorry, not hydrocarbons. The third part is remaining, that is coke. What is coke? The pure coal which remains behind when coal gas has been taken away from coal. That pure coal is called as coke, and its uses are, again, it is a part of carbon, it is a part of coal, so used as a domestic fuel, reducing agent, and also used in the production of water gas and producer gas. The composition: water gas is carbon monoxide plus hydrogen, producer gas is carbon monoxide plus hydrogen plus carbon dioxide plus nitrogen. Compositions you have to remember, as it can be asked in the exam. Next topic, as I have told you, is about hydrocarbons. This topic, again, I would like to tell you, highlight over here, is that it is an important topic from the 10th standard syllabus point of view next year, and you have an entire chapter number 9, carbon compounds, in your syllabus in the next year, and this is the base, so you have to understand this topic very properly and thoroughly. Why hydrocarbons are called as the basic organic compounds? You all know that along with carbon, the element hydrogen, it is included, it is a part of most of the organic compounds, and hence the compounds which are formed from only carbon and hydrogen, they are called as basic organic compounds, or also called as hydrocarbons. Hydrogen and carbon together, hence hydrocarbons. Now, you know that the electronic configuration of carbon is 2 electrons in the first shell and 4 electrons in the second shell, because the atomic number is 6. So 4 electrons in the last shell means valency of carbon is 4. Now if these 4 electrons are added to the second orbit of carbon, its octet becomes complete and electronic configuration will become stable like that of the nearest gas, that is neon, 2,8. Listen carefully. Valency is 4, so 4 electrons in the outermost orbit. So if you add 4 electrons in the second shell, it will become 2,8. Therefore, the valency of carbon is 4. However, this occurs by the sharing of electron rather than give and take of electrons. Carbon is an element which does not believe in giving, that is donation or reception of electrons. It rather believes in sharing of the electrons. Or in other words, what you can say, a carbon atom can form 4 covalent bonds with other carbon atoms or atoms of different elements. So we take up an example over here. When a carbon atom shares 1 electron each with 4 hydrogen atoms and forms 4 CH bonds, then you get the basic hydrocarbon, that is methane, wherein carbon is attached to 4 hydrogen atoms. So the molecule CH4, that is methane, is formed. So this you should remember, the basic organic compound is methane, and carbon, it shares the electron, and when the bond is formed by sharing of electrons, it is called as covalent bond, and the compounds are called as covalent compounds. So let us check the properties of covalent compounds. The first property is covalent compounds, they have low melting points and boiling points. They are generally insoluble in water, soluble in organic solvents, and very poor conductors of heat and electricity. Our next topic is this question you have to prepare, as it can be asked as a direct question for 3 marks. Give the 3 properties of covalent compounds. Next is saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Here only one simple thing you remember, the concept behind it, that saturated hydrocarbons means hydrocarbons which have only single bonds between carbon atoms, and hydrocarbons which have a multiple bond in the form of double or triple bond, they are called as unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now for your information, I will tell you, ethane is a saturated hydrocarbon, ane, alkane, methane, propane, whereas alkenes and alkynes form the unsaturated hydrocarbons. So just remember, saturated carbon-carbon single bond, unsaturated multiple bond. Multiple means more than one. So it can be a double bond or it can be a triple bond. Our next topic is, you can see here the chart displaying the different properties of carbon dioxide. As you all know that carbon dioxide having molecular mass 44 and the molecular formula CO2, it occurs in the air in the free state to the extent of about 0.03%. It is used up by the plants for the process of photosynthesis, and I need not tell you over here that carbon dioxide is the gas which you give out, you exhale out of the body, and oxygen is taken up. So what are the different physical properties of this carbon dioxide gas? Here an experiment was carried on by combining calcium carbonate with HCl, and the products were calcium chloride, water, and the liberation of carbon dioxide gas. This liberated carbon dioxide gas was collected in different gas jars, and then its properties were verified. The first property verified was the physical property in terms of its color and odor, smell. When tested, the gas, carbon dioxide gas which was collected in the gas jar, it was found to have no color and no smell. So these 2 properties were verified in the initial stage. Then they went ahead with the verification for different chemical properties. The first was with the case of a burning candle. When a burning candle was introduced in the gas jar containing carbon dioxide, the flame of the burning candle was put off, which indicates that carbon dioxide does not support burning. When tested with universal indicator, that is small amount of solution of universal indicator, it was put in the gas jar filled with carbon dioxide and shaken, and what was the result? The color of the universal indicator was turned to yellow or slightly orange tinge was seen. Lime water, when put in the gas jar of carbon dioxide, turned milky. Water, when introduced, it was found that carbon dioxide sparingly dissolves in water, forming H2CO3, that is carbonic acid, and when tested with both blue and red, that is moist litmus papers, it was found that moist blue litmus turns red, but no effect was seen on moist red litmus paper. So these are the physical properties of carbon dioxide. Now let us just check out for its chemical properties. Other than this, so some chemical properties of carbon dioxide was, the first one, sodium carbonate is formed when carbon dioxide gas is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH. What is sodium carbonate? It is nothing but washing soda, and the chemical equation for this statement is sodium hydroxide when treated with carbon dioxide forms sodium carbonate plus water. Whereas in the second case, you will see sodium bicarbonate is formed on passing carbon dioxide through an aqueous solution of sodium carbonate. Here be careful, sodium carbonate when carbon dioxide is treated with sodium hydroxide, and sodium bicarbonate when carbon dioxide is treated with sodium carbonate. And what is sodium bicarbonate? It is nothing but baking soda. The chemical equation is, now in place of NaOH, you will have Na2CO3 plus water plus carbon dioxide forms 2NaHCO3, that is sodium bicarbonate. So in this equations, what you can derive, that sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate are formed from carbon dioxide gas with various reactions. Now we go ahead with the other uses of carbon dioxide. I need not have to explain, all this explanation is given to you. So quickly we will go through the uses. It is used to make aerated drinks. Hence I have told you, when you buy a cold drink from the shop and you just shake the bottle for a long amount of time and then you open the lid, you will see the carbon dioxide gas gushing out very instantaneously. Next, solid carbon dioxide is used in cold storage and also to keep the milk and milk products and frozen substances cool during transport, and it is used for getting special effects of a mist in dramas and movies, the effect of clouds and all. The carbon dioxide which is obtained by chemical reaction or kept under pressure, it is used in fire extinguishers, which we are going to study in details. Liquefied carbon dioxide is used to remove caffeine from coffee. Liquid carbon dioxide is used as a solvent in modern eco-friendly dry cleaning, and this I don't have to tell you that plants use the carbon dioxide from the air for the process of photosynthesis for preparation of food. Apart from this, just now we have seen one use, that carbon dioxide is used in the preparation of sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate. That also you can add up as a use over here. Our next topic is in details about regular fire extinguisher. Now, regular fire extinguisher. This you have seen in our school building also, in your residential areas, in the buildings where you reside. These fire extinguishers are placed on different floors. Now, what does it contain? A fire extinguisher, it contains sodium bicarbonate powder, that is NaHCO3 powder. There is also dilute sulfuric acid which is placed inside this capsule. You can see this glass capsule. Here you can see sulfuric acid. Here you can see sodium bicarbonate powder. So the chemicals which are required is sodium bicarbonate powder, dilute sulfuric acid. The capsule, it breaks on pressing the knob. You know, you have to press the knob in case you have to extinguish the fire. Then this capsule breaks on pressing the knob. The sulfuric acid in this capsule, it comes in contact with sodium bicarbonate, and both of them react chemically to release carbon dioxide gas which comes out. And carbon dioxide based fire extinguishers, they do not cause corrosion and they are the non-conductors of electricity. Once carbon dioxide gas is released, you know it is used for extinguishing fire. It does not support burning. Now this carbon dioxide based fire extinguishers, they are used only to extinguish small scale fire, and it is beyond their capacity. It is beyond their limit to extinguish a fire which is set up on a very large scale. In modern fire extinguishers, liquid and solid carbon dioxide, it is filled under pressure. On reducing the pressure, it becomes gaseous and comes out forcefully through the pipe. Now the chemical reaction here you can see sodium bicarbonate when treated with sulfuric acid gives sodium sulfate, water and carbon dioxide as the products which is used. The carbon dioxide is used to extinguish fire. Our next last topic to end up with the revision is the occurrence of methane. In details you are going to study about methane, its physical properties, uses, etc. Methane, you know, is the basic hydrocarbon having molecular formula CH4 and molecular mass 16. All these properties, all these occurrences are explained to you in details. So immediately we will just go through it. Where it occurs? It occurs in natural gas to the extent of 87%. Decomposition of organic matter in the absence of air, that is anaerobic process. It produces methane present in biogas, coal mines, also found at the surface of marshy places. Hence it is also called as marsh gas. You know, it is one of the give reasons. On heating a mixture of hydrogen and carbon monoxide gases, that is H2 and CO, at a temperature of 300 degrees Celsius in the presence of nickel catalyst, you get methane gas. Also, fractional distillation of natural gas gives us methane in the pure form. So these are the different ways where methane occurs. Now quickly have a glance at the physical properties. Melting point is minus 182.5 degrees Celsius, whereas boiling point is minus 161.5 degrees Celsius. Colorless gas, density of liquid methane less than the density of water. Methane sparingly soluble in water but highly soluble in organic solvents like gasoline, ether and alcohol, and is in gaseous state. You know, methane is a gas at room temperature. Now, how the questions can be asked on this part of the topic? Here directly I can ask you 3 properties for 3 marks. Surely this question cannot exceed more than 3 marks. I cannot ask 5 properties for 5 marks. So a sense you should have that maximum 3 properties you have to study. So any 3 of your choice you can study 3 to 4. But this melting points, boiling points, that you have to remember, as it can be asked under true or false or MCQ or any other type of objective. Occurrence also, give 3 places where methane occurs. So 3 to 4 occurrence points you have to remember along with the give reason why methane is called as marsh gas. Next is about the uses of methane. Very simple. Methane in the form of natural gas is used in industries such as fabric mills, paper mills, food processing industry and petrol purification. As it is the smallest hydrocarbon, the basic hydrocarbon, the proportion of carbon dioxide which is released in the combustion of methane is small. Hence, it is used as a domestic fuel. Not only that, methane is used for the production of organic compounds, the higher organic compounds like ethanol, which is ethyl alcohol, methyl chloride, methylene chloride and also acetylene. Apart from this uses, apart from this properties, any other property of your choice you can study from the Google Net and you can add it in the exam. The last topic to end the revision of this chapter is the biogas plant. Now, biogas plant, you know, it is widely used in the rural areas, in villages where your power, electricity is a major problem. What is used in this biogas plant? The reactants which are used are not at all costly. Animal dung, dry leaves, wet garbage, they all are used as the reactant. So you know no cost is involved over here. They get decomposed by the anaerobic microbes. Anaerobic microbes means the microbes which function in the absence of oxygen. They are decompose this reactants in the biogas plant. You can see the diagram of biogas plant, and production of methane gas is found over here, which is known as biogas. It is widely used because it is a cheap fuel option which meets the demand for cooking gas. It is also used, for the production of electricity. Now what it contains? It contains 55 to 60% of methane and the remaining is carbon dioxide gas. Why it is, you can say, a friendly fuel or the fuel which is used on the large scale? Because it is convenient to use, and in addition to this it is a very good manure. Also it is produced as a side product of the process. So not only that, it is an eco-friendly gas, biogas which is emitted. It is eco-friendly and not much cost is involved in its preparation, because the raw materials which are used, that are the wastes in the form of animal dung or dry leaves. So it is an eco-friendly gas and used on a very large scale. Now the biogas production processes, it involves two stages. It is an anaerobic process, as I have told you, because the anaerobic microbes are involved over here. The first step is the production of acids and the other is methane gas production. In the production of acids stage, the microbes, the anaerobic microbes, they act on the biodegradable complex organic compound and produce organic acids. And in the second stage, the methanogenic bacteria act on the organic acids which are produced here to produce methane gas, which is nothing but biogas. So CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, liberates methane plus CO2. This CH3COOH is an organic acid, which in details you are going to study in the next standard, that is the 10th standard. With this, we complete with the revision of chapter number 13. Chapter number 18 revision is over. Tomorrow, as we have the last day remaining for our assessment exam, before the assessment exam, I will be revising chapter number 12, that is study of sound. Chapter number 15 I don't have to revise, because recently in the last week we have completed with the explanation of that chapter. All the answers, activities, everything is discussed with you. So now it's your time. Start with the reading. See to it that the books are completed so you can well prepare yourselves for the assessment. Thank you, dear children.